What's up YouTube? We back with another tutorial. In this video I'm going to be breaking down my 4-step framework that guarantees a clean, repeatable haircut every time. Because most barbers they freestyle their haircuts and just hopes to come out clean, so hopefully using these steps you'll give a great haircut on a repeatable basis. So I always like to break the haircut down into 4 simple steps. In step 1, we just establishing the foundation right now. We're combing through the hair and getting an understanding of the client's hair texture, of the client's growth patterns, any cowlicks or imperfections. This is basically like an artist getting an understanding of the canvas. So today, we're taking it down to a number 3, against the grain. He wants to rock low curls, so for his hair texture, this number 3 guard will achieve a good length for him to do that. I have the video sped up, but notice how I'm trying to go in one motion. I'm not trying to be choppy everywhere because this is how you will have to keep going over it, and we want to make sure we're being efficient with whatever we're doing. And the same applies to the beard. We're also taking the beard down to the desired length, and he likes it too on the beard. Now we're just kind of debulking the lineup, prepping it so when it is time to line it up, the hair's not overhanging too much and causing us to have to keep combing it back down. So doing all these things will help you keep your haircuts consistent, because we're always setting the foundation before we start the fading or before we start the lining. And it also saves you time, because if we didn't do the preparatory work, we'll have to keep going back, and once it's time to line them up after we fade, prep the lineup again and do all that stuff. So why not just knock it out in our first step, which is establishing the foundation. And last but not least, we're just spraying it with some spritz, so by the time we go and line them up, the hairline's already prepped. So for our first guideline, we actually are starting with the lever open today. We're still using our 2-guard system, but I like to do this on cuts that have no C-cup, because it can help us keep that vertical bar long, but it still establish a nice fade on there. And you will see what I mean, because the blend starts actually at that first guideline with the lever open. That's where the consistency of the blend actually starts, because we fade out that bottom underneath that right down to the skin. So when we started with the lever open, we can keep that vertical bar long, and we can achieve a nice little blend underneath that lever open. I'm sorry. And you guys will especially see what I mean once we line them up. Now we just have the 1.5 guard on there. We're just smoothing down that fading area, and eventually we'll flip the clipper back around so we fading up into that. Because since we went 3 against the grain all around the head, now we're just establishing our taper area. So now we go back, we have the lever fully open, and we're going to blend back down to that initial guideline we set with the lever open. And we'll only be using this 1.5 guard and the half guard. And each time we go lower within that against the guideline, each time we go and close the lever, we're going lower in that blend. And I started removing guards because all a fade is, or a blend or a taper, is just a transition from light to dark. So I like to keep it fairly simple on achieving that transition. Now we have the half guard on there, lever halfway open, and this is essentially like using a one guard. We're going a little past that guideline, and then we'll close our clipper and go a little lower against that guideline. And it might not be fully out, and that's okay, because we can just go right back to that lever open and fade it out all the way. So that's basically like how we use our 2-guard system. It eliminates a lot of guesswork. We set our initial guideline, then we went to the 1.5 to blend that top bulk down to that guideline, and then we put on our half guard to clean it up. We're using the corner of our teeth of the blade because we don't want to put in any new guidelines, and you'll especially see with this lever open. That's mostly corner work, kind of just slicing through any darkness. And the more you angle your clipper, the less hair you'll actually be cutting. That's why I can go up in those higher areas that I might have used the guard in and still get out any dark spots that I see. So on this side, we'll be doing the exact same steps. So I'm gonna let it play out so you can see how the 2-guard system works. coming together real nice and clean. And I was able to get some footage on this side of how I actually blend the beard, so that's coming right up on this side.
Baby, give me some cash.
So starting out with the beard, we do the same thing, but this time we put our initial guideline clipper all the way closed, and then we flip the clipper and open the lever all the way up, and we're just breezing past that initial guideline, going at an angle, see, because we're already creating a transition without any guard. And then when we flip it back, we still have the lever open, and we're just fading our way back up to the initial guideline. So how we fade it down to our initial guideline on the taper, we're fading up to our initial guideline on the beard. It's just flipped. And for him, I kind of wanted to stretch out that blend, so he did throw on the 1.5 and the 0.5 guard on there. One thing I haven't mentioned yet in this video, also notice how we're keeping our guards in our hand. This is just because we want to stay efficient. Once we started our blend, we didn't have to turn back around at all because we have everything we need in our hands. We'll turn back around and grab our liner once it's time to do the lineup. And I jinxed myself, so I'll cut out that line. I'm sorry, y'all. I know, for on a serious note, I do have a structure when I'm cutting hair on YouTube. I try to get different angles, so I do it a certain way so you guys can see everything. But when I'm doing a cut regularly, like say right now I have this lever open, I would do everything I need around the cut with the lever open. So I would go from side to back to side and then work my way through with the 1.5, the zero point 0.5, all that. So structure is very important because you want to give your clients a repeatable experience, and you want to eliminate the guesswork so you can have good execution where you're cutting hair. This will save you much time, and having that structure would just go a long way. I'm not gonna lie. So I remember it was times when I would freestyle, or kind of how I was feeling that day, or what YouTube I might have watched beforehand, which is fine initially because you're gonna want to find whatever system works for you. But once you start have clients coming back to you, they're gonna want that same haircut that you gave them before. If they're coming back, they're telling you, okay, the haircut you gave me, I like the way you cut my hair, I like the service, I like the conversation, whatever it may be. And if you're not replicating that when they come back, or you're kind of being lackadaisical when you showed a lot of high energy the first time, or different things, this can apply to haircuts, this can apply to your personality, the service. If you're using hot towels and then the next time they come back you're not using anymore, these things will affect your clientele for sure. So now we're going to finish up step 2, which was the blend, and move on to step 3 and execute the lineup. For the lineup, the best way to go about things is always trying to keep everything full as possible, always trying to keep everything natural. Don't try to go too cosmetic because a full natural haircut and a hairline will last the longest amount of time. And for the same thing for the back neckline, we're just establishing that first line in the middle and we're kind of connecting it to the bottom and connecting it to the top. We're letting the clipper do the work also. We're not trying to press down too hard. Going around that ear, we want to use our corners. We want to use the ergonomics of the clipper to our advantage and just take our time. Right here, this is just the pencil trick. So I got some pencil on my glove. I tapped the liner on it just a little bit, and all this does is add a little bit of pop when we're creating that outline. Same thing applies to both sides. And right here we're using the Style Craft with the diamond tooth blade on there. If you're interested in any of the tools I'm using, I dropped the links in the bio, so just check that out.
Baby, give me some cash.
You might as well clean up while you're right there. So now we're just going to create the frame. I always like to start out with the vertical bars and then go to the middle and walk the line at each corner. This keeps the lineup symmetrical and help you achieve that balance much easier in my opinion. And once we create that first vertical bar, we're using that vertical bar as a reference to the other one. And you'll see me use my comb, and all I'm doing, I'm looking at where it falls at on either the corner of the eye or I'm looking at the edge of the eyebrow. I'm just doing the exact same thing on both sides. Now I'm visually checking just to make sure everything is balanced, and you'll see what I mean. Now it's easy for me to walk that middle line to the corner. It's almost like doing the lineup on training wheels. Notice how I'm taking my time. I'm not in any rush because you don't want to have to fix and to keep adjusting the lineup because you're trying to move too fast. I would rather you just take your time, get it right the first time, and it'll save you much more time. Same thing applies to the beard. We're going to keep everything full. Don't want to go too high up on that neckline underneath. And this is the final step. We're just refining and enhancing anything we do. So the razor is actually setting the haircut out, making it pop a little more, but it actually does have a use case because this is adding at least 2, maybe 3 days to the haircut because it's getting those double hairs that the clipper can't necessarily get. After we hit them with a razor, we'll just check our tapers and our blends, making sure everything is faded nicely, no dark spots or lines or anything like that. And we'll just double check our lineup to make sure everything is balanced. And this is the time where the mirror is your best friend right now. You want to make sure you're checking the mirror because your eyes might think it's good. When you look back at that mirror, it might tell you a whole nother thing. Or also, a good thing maybe to do is use your camera as well because that camera gonna tell you. So I'm really just cornering, looking for any dark spots I can clean up. So I'm gonna let this video play out. I got some nice clips of the haircut at the end of the video. But if this 4-step framework helped you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to keep breaking down systems that make you more efficient and consistent behind the chair. And if you want to keep it simple and use anything that I use, just click the links in the description and it's the products listed down below. Thank you.